Hi everybody, this is Rohit, your IELTS tutor, and today we are going to solve another true-false not given question. So today's question is also dependent on quantity. We can see this word largely here, so it is going to play a major role. So today we are going to see rule of quantity. So let's see, आज हम क्या सीखेंगे? So in this, we are going to learn two things: rule of quantity, and we're also going to learn somehow the second thing, which is sentence equivalence. Now, what is sentence equivalence? Obviously, we cannot learn it in today's video. We are just going to see how it may help you solve true false not given question. And in most often cases, especially when quantity is concerned, we have to use sentence equivalence. And even in not only true false not given questions, but also in other types of questions in answer reading, sentence equivalence helps you. So ये थोड़ी सी एडवांस चीज है. Basic users might not understand it. It's fine if you don't understand. But this video is only for the toppers who are planning to get more than 30 in their IELTS reading in the final exam. So शुरू करते हैं आज की क्लास. Let's start with today's class. Let's see today's question. इसको समझने की कोशिश करते हैं हम लोग. So today's question is here. The plight of rainforests has largely been ignored by the media. Now, you must know meaning of plight. Plight is a negative word as it carries negative value. Plight means barbadi. Now, the plight of rainforests has been largely ignored by the media. So we have media. So we have two aspects here. A rainforest plight, for which we have drawn one Venn diagram, and on the other hand, we have media coverage, for which we have drawn another Venn diagram. Now, what is the link between these two as per the question? Question कहता है दोनों में जो connection है वो है largely ignored. That means media coverage कितनी है? Let's understand it. Media coverage is largely ignored. Now, let's use rule of sentence equivalence. Rule of sentence equivalence means that two ideas generate a different type of value. Let's say, for example, there are two ideas of which one is positive and the other is negative. We are going to get a negative value. In the similar way, if there are two positive values, we are going to get positive value. And if there are two negative values, we are going to get a positive value. Now, this happens even in elementary mathematics, if you have solved some of the maths. Now, let's understand this thing. Largely ignored. Largely is positive word, ignored is negative word. So obviously the outcome which will come is going to be also negative. That means media coverage is largely ignored. That means media coverage is going to be very, very less. And let's see this chart of negativity and its relevance to percentage. So you must know in IELTS reading, percentage also means either negative or positive. Percentage भी negative or positive value carry करती है. Now, how does it happen? For this, in IELTS reading, we always keep 50 as a base. And in case 50 से अगर value कम हो रही है, that carries negative value. And in another case, if the value is 50 or more than 50, the value is considered to be positive. Now you will say, why is it so? It is a very simple thing. जब value कम होती है, obviously कम means negative, बराबर होती है positive, and ज़्यादा होती है, that is positive. It's very simple logic to understand. And that's how the things work here also in IELTS reading. So let's see this thing. तो question कहता है rainforests की जो मीडिया कवरेज है वो बहुत कम है. That is only 1 to 10%, or let's say in other words, it is less than 50%. It is not 50%. That is what they're saying. Now, a paragraph पढ़ते हैं and let's interpret the answer. The paragraph is here. Adults and children are frequently confronted with statements about the alarming rate of loss of tropical rainforests. For example, one graphic illustration to which children might readily relate is the estimate that rainforests are being destroyed at a rate equivalent to 1,000 football fields every 40 minutes, about the duration of a normal classroom period. Now, अगर हम यहाँ पे पढ़े, they have talked about destruction of rainforests. That means they're given synonymous language. Question me, they talked about plight of rainforest. Obviously, plight means destruction. Now we got the synonymous language. First element we have got, that is plight of rainforest. We have to now search for the second element as per the question, and that is media coverage. Media coverage ढूंढते हैं. About the duration of a normal classroom period. In the face of the frequent and often vivid media coverage. Now let's see media coverage कैसी है? Frequent and often vivid. Now हमें अपना आंसर यहाँ पे मिल गया. अब इस पैराग्राफ को थोड़ा डिटेल में समझते हैं एंड आंसर निकालते हैं. Let's see this thing. We have this small line here जिसमें हमें अपना आंसर मिलता है. They say that media coverage is frequent and vivid. Let's see what does it mean. Media coverage क्या है? Frequent. Frequent carries positive value as per sentence equivalence. There are certain sets of words which have basic idea behind them. Either they are positive or negative. There is a list. We are going to understand that in another lecture. So इस पे focus करते हैं आज. Frequent. Frequent is a positive word, and in the similar way, often is also a positive word. And obviously, if media coverage is positive, it is going to generate a negative result. That means, in any case possible, media coverage is positive. And we know positive percentage is always going to be more than 50%. It is never going to be less than 50%. So that means media coverage is positive as per the paragraph. That means it is more than 50%. Now, let's understand this thing. Let's see the question. The question statement said, media coverage is largely ignored. That means media coverage was very less. Media coverage was negative as per them. That means it was less than 50%. Whereas the paragraph stated opposite information. Paragraph said, the media coverage is instead often vivid. That means it is positive and more than 50%. Now, we can find that both of these statements do not match. And in fact, the question statement is opposite of the information given in the paragraph. We can conclude that the answer is false. So ये हमारा answer false है. Now this was a strategy. I will not call it a trick. This is not a trick. This is the right strategy behind solving questions in IELTS. So this is how you solve it. And it might be difficult for the students who are not good at reasoning and maths. But the students who are good at maths and reasoning will find English, especially IELTS reading, to be very, very simple. And this lecture was only aimed at the students who are planning to get more than 30. This is going to help you ace up your score and may also get you complete score. All right. So that is it, everybody. I'm going to come with the next video soon. Have a good day.